Hello party people, it's me again, uh, doubling up on my videos here. I'm going to try to keep this short. So I was going to go through and this is more for my benefit, just try to figure out exactly what it is that the many things that have been going through my head. I'll do a list of course, but it's just a good start. Just working through the layout. The water, I like the look of it overall, but when I poured it, it cracked, so that's one thing. Maybe the harbor wouldn't even stay there. I don't know. Maybe that could be my yard. I don't know. I do like the temple area. That is actually a module. It's all done on pink foam. So maybe if I took the buildings off and was careful, I could take that off. It would be nice, but I could redo it. I'm not really that attached to it. These guys, all in the back here, these are all separate modules. So I have number 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have this little hill here. Those are all pretty, if they went, I wouldn't be super upset. I do like the farm. I'd probably try to keep that, but I could redo it. It's not really a deal breaker. This little area here is pretty much just a big open space of plaster, smooth it plaster, and if you can see, it's another one of the things. All those little things are little holes. When I put the plaster on, I think I overmixed it, perhaps, and it made all these little air bubbles, and so that would be another thing I would like to address. I could probably address that with paint, honestly, right now, but it's fine. The biggies, my freight line, which is now a point-to-point, I would like to make that a full loop. The high-speed rail, this guy here, parallels, and that's all fine and good, but again, I could, right now I have a curve up here, kind of banks, because high-speed rail does bank, but I think that's causing issues. I'm getting some weird derailing stuff from time to time, depending on how I hit it. And I don't think I can actually even run stuff this way. I can only run it this way. So that's an issue. That could be handled by either redoing this and checking it twice and maybe being a little more delicate with it, or using the Kato bank track and just using that. So that's fine too. I'm actually liking this area. I haven't done any of the painting underneath it yet, but that was working for me, as is the yard for now. It's working, although again the freight doesn't go anywhere, so that's frustrating. So that would be part of that freight thing. The high-speed rail stuff is working out okay. I do like these little sidings where I can actually park. There's one back there too. I can actually park one of these guys, and so I can have 2 trains going and bounce back and forth. There was a great suggestion on the N-Scale radio, well, not N-Scale radio, that's Model Rail Radio, N-Scale Trains group on Facebook, where someone suggested going DCC. That would handle all this issue, and I can get away from doing my kludgy, triple power solution here, and then I could have the tracks kind of all connected, and then those loops could be closed off. So that would be challenging, but not impossible. I think what basically I would just clear everything out. So just all this stuff would go and just take it down to bare bones again. The other thing I wanted to get some different elevations. I really like here where there is a little different elevation going on, and it just creates more interest and more depth. It's not as much as I wanted. I wanted more of this kind of thing that's happening over here, which I really like. It's basically 2 pink foam sheet heights, that kind of height. Even a little higher would be interesting. So that's something on the radar as well. Again, the temple's up high over here. You can see that. I have this section that's up high, here, along with this section here, and then that little tiny hill over there. But I'd like to get more of this kind of elevation. I think that would be interesting, and have a train actually running through it, either the freight or the tram line. So I'll play around with that, drop some stuff. I don't play well with the not online, but the model rail track software. I don't like it. For some reason, it just bothers the hell out of me. But maybe I'll try it again and see if I can pull something together with that first. I'm also looking at potentially creating a little bit more space by, creating like a deck that goes across to that corner to here, and continuing that. That might be something that's doable. It's going to definitely run into my space here, because I have doors and things to take into consideration. I don't want to mess up the feng shui, as it were. This donut area here it's as small as it's going to be, so that I can't play around with that. I'm thinking maybe the track will run around the outside. Again, I have to kind of think it through. If this goes away, this back section here with the shipping and all that, I could move things around. Like I said, the harbor could be over here, and move all the yard stuff over to this side, and maybe that would make sense. I'm not sure. But as I think about it, it is exciting. It is kind of a drag because I have a lot of these little scenes that I've spent spent time, dealing with and stuff. But conversely, I have things that I'm not happy about, like, this stuff, how this came about. It did the trick, but it's not clean. It's not, it's just kind of tossed in there, tossed together. So there is a lot of space where I could really make a lot of cool things happen. And it's looking like I'm going to end up blowing all this up. So, yeah, I'll end up, obviously documenting everything first. I'm going to basically do some better videos than these shaky iPhone videos. Bring in my big gun camera and tripod and go through and just do some just straight up video and some still photography. Do an extensive amount of that, and then start pulling stuff apart, I guess. So I'm gonna start to hunt for some boxes. And that's the other thing. It's going to be interesting too, because I have a little bit of room in here, but not a whole lot. I have room underneath the layout. My daughter's train layout here that we're going to be working on this winter, with maybe some of these that'll be left over from the demolishing here. But yeah, I have to figure out where I'm going to put all these boxes, and all these things have to go in boxes, and they have some delicate stuff that I have to address. But yeah, a lot of this stuff I don't even have locked down, for that very reason, as I toss a whole bunch of stuff around. Because I kept moving things around anyway, because I wasn't 100% happy. So it's going to be a long haul. But the other thing I'm thinking about too is, it's interesting because as soon as I started this process of thinking this through, I didn't want to work on this anymore. I just didn't want to do anything else. I have things coming in still. I have an order coming from Japan. It should be here today or tomorrow, or sometime shortly. And I think all that stuff is just going to end up staying in their boxes. I'm not even going to put it out because it's such a major thing that I'm looking at here. But I do think that there is a lot of potential to make things a lot better. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to be doing a lot of research and a lot of playing around with stuff. I think keeping the tracks together, having, one of the things Tom Barbalet of Model Rail Radio was talking about is how in Japan, tracks are used for more than one type of, train. It's like here. So I could have my freight running on the high-speed rail or the tram line, or something to that extent. So yeah, there's potential all over the place to do a lot of cool stuff. I would like to keep these modules in the back. I'm bumping up against my 10-minute mark here. But I would like to keep my modules in the back. They might change based on what goes on in the whole layout. But that system works really well because, as you can see, it's like it's way over there, like, you know, and it's hard to reach. So this allows me to just lift out this whole section, take it upstairs, work on it, do whatever I want, and then pop it back in. So that's been working great. You know, whether this stays this way or not, we'll see. That is going to be an issue. And then, yeah, just figure out how to get this height that I want and where that height is going to be. Maybe this all stays very similar height-wise, and maybe all the height changes are over here. I'm not sure. It's kind of interesting to think about. So we'll see, and we'll see how it works out. But I've gotten some really fantastic input. I appreciate all the input that I've gotten so far, and I'm looking forward to the process and figuring all this stuff out. And I will document it, of course, as I go along. So now I have some groceries to unload out of my wife's car, and I will see you all later. Thanks for viewing, and thanks for the feedback. It's really helpful.